welcome back to the Valley of the Old Farm. And you remember last time we brought ourselves a maize field with some ready to silage maize. So we're going to do that today. We're going to lease the Pottinger Max 5 because it's a very small field, so we don't really want a big expensive forage harvester. So £1,900 seems sensible to me. Because it is quite a long drive. I'm also going to lease a second trailer so that we can hopefully make the carting more efficient. Now, what would have been really sensible for something like this is a reverse drive tractor. Probably get the weight over the rear axle, or a bigger tractor, but we have neither. So I did attempt, you will see, to put the rear weight on and see if the trailer would attach to the rear weight rather than the pickup hitch on the tractor. You will see in a moment that this is not particularly successful, and I think this works more for dolly trailers, but the idea of a dolly trailer and reversing into a silage clamp was not particularly appealing. So we make do with the mass of the trailer holding down the rear wheels. And it's a lot of weight hanging off the front 3-point. I don't know what the weight rating is of a front 3-point, and I don't remember what the mass of that thing is, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's designed to go on either significantly bigger tractor or something with reverse drive. But as I said, we have neither. The McCormick might have been better. It's certainly bigger, but not as powerful. As I was tempted by the Farm Tech from the root crop DLC, because that would have probably attached to the rear weight. But in the end, I went for a second Ultima. Just because I thought having a pair would look cooler. And it was that simple. But I thought having two the same would look better than having a different one and reversing into a silage clamp. So I'm now going to faff around with trying to get auto drive. I thought I had follow me installed. I don't. Need to sort that, but it had a bit of fun getting auto drive to do its thing. So the McCormick is on auto drive. I'm driving the case. Such is the case. I know. Yeah, we'll get this. It's not the biggest field in the world. We really don't need that much maize silage, but a little bit will be useful for making some TMR. And that's why I brought this field. And what I think I'll do, and I did say this, probably is I'll combine field 37 and 38 into one field. Or we might just sell them. It's quite nice having the fields up here. Lets us see a different part of the map. And maybe I'll keep them as two small fields. I mean, it might be a nice way of growing a small amount of root crops. Yeah, maybe I'll keep them. I don't know. I'm undecided at the moment. In case you don't watch Glenlarden, I will very quickly say that the Saxthorpe Farm series has now finished. Along with Rayback, I have decided to end both of those, and we are starting a new series on the vintage oaks. Details of that are in the Glenlarden video, so if you want the full long spiel, go watch that video. I'm not going to rehash it all here. Yeah, I decided to change some things up a little bit. So this is quite a nice little setup for this scale of silage. I've used something like this before. What I didn't realise is this is essentially designed to go around a field clockwise. So at some point I do realise, and basically the whole unit is offset to the right hand side of the vehicle. And so I'm basically destroying silage to the left, or maize to the left hand side of the vehicle at this point, which is a little bit annoying, but yeah, we don't need that much, so it's not a big problem. You can see that the front left wheel is knocking down some of the maize stalks as we go. And yeah, it took me a while to realize this was another, as has often been the case lately, this was another video that was recorded when one was rather tired. Reoccurring theme. And yeah, why am I always tired? Well, one of the potential reasons is something that I alluded to in a video a few weeks back, maybe a couple of months back now. It was a Valley the Old Farm video where I was a little bit mentally strained, shall we say. And I spoke about going to the doctors, and I have subsequently been pursuing a diagnosis for autism, which I don't think I've really spoken about in videos on the main channel. I've spoken about it in the videos for the patrons, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm autistic. I'm pretty sure I've always been autistic. And yeah, I'm in the process of getting a diagnosis for that. In the UK, for an adult, turns out that takes about a year. Basically of sitting on a waiting list, having had a pre-assessment. You then wait for about a year to talk to some people to see if they agree. But yeah, lots of things point at that being a thing. And yeah, I've kind of known for quite a long time, but decided to pursue an official diagnosis, peer reviewed by a few people that know me, and have, you know, experience of this, either are themselves or have family members that are, have a friend who's also pursuing a diagnosis. We're very, very similar. But one of the things that comes with that is quite often being quite tired. And you know, the thing for me is, so yesterday I was in work, and being around people is really tiring. And I think I've spoken about having work mode, and that's the thing. And using that is quite tiring. And yeah, so anyway, that was the thing that I hinted at a few months ago when I was a bit fraught, shall we say. And yeah, I've been pursuing that, and been very mentally tough. I've had a few appointments with different people, and you know, going through all sorts of things about past and present and stuff, and that's, yeah, it's quite tiring. But yeah, so there's that. That's the thing about me that not a lot of people have known about until now, I guess. And maybe now 100 more people in the world will know about that thing about me. Yeah, I'd kind of decided I was going to say it in this video because I'd spoken about it before in a Valley the Old Farm video. And yeah, I think it's something that's good to talk about. And it's been really good, actually. I've been talking about it more with Mrs. D and the teenager. It was Mrs. D who pushed me into doing it, because I'd been thinking about it for a very long time, and reading about it and learning about it, and she kind of pushed me over the edge into doing it. And it's been generally a positive experience, but it's come with a lot of sort of self-exploration and therefore mental fatigue. And yeah, at this point I had realized that I need to be going essentially clockwise around the field. So I am just running now around the edge, slowly making the field, or the crop in the field, smaller. Yeah. So I did try and do a little bit of in-cab work, and I found it really hard with this implement in particular. I was looking, there was I think it released yesterday, I think. I'm going to go look at Mod Hub now to check before I give you duff information. Yes, I believe it was yesterday. Or it was an update that released yesterday. First person only camera mod by DD Mod Passion. Oh, that would make playing the game so hard, I think. And I know some people, I know Paul, farming agency Paul, does a lot in first person. I know he really enjoys playing in first person. He plays with a very big monitor. And, you know, I guess having done a lot of first person in the real world, maybe it's more natural. But I find it really weird playing the game in first person view. I find the perspective very hard to understand. But yeah, I've never done a lot of first person stuff. And I don't really enjoy it as much as being sat back here. And ultimately, although I'm making content, I play Farm Sim because I enjoy it. And why do I want to make it? I mean, why do I want to make it so hard to the point that I don't enjoy it? I mean, I sometimes play the game in a way that's harder, but I don't want to make it hard to the point where I'm not enjoying it. So pretty much full trailer. Let's just drop the forage harvester off the front, because why not? Make the tractor undrivable by disconnecting the trailer with a nice little pirouette there, and we'll swap trailers. We'll use auto drive with the McCormick to send the full trailer back, and we'll swap. And that's why I wanted a second trailer, because it's quite a long run back to the farm, and that means we can just keep working, keep things rolling, and not have to wait to run all the way back down to the main farm. We're quite a long way through the field already, and we've only filled the one trailer. But as I said, we're not going to go particularly heavy on the maize silage. It just gives us a bit to put in the TMR. I could have adjusted TMR so we don't need any, but I tend to use the Maize Plus recipe that has a bit of maize, a bit of grass silage, and then whatever we want. So yeah, I'm just trying to look at where on the auto drive network we want to send the vehicle. So actually the vehicle reset point looks like a good option, so let's go with that. If I can find it, here we go. And let's just head back, get that back, reconnect the new trailer. This is the leased trailer, and I forget that. I am careful with the whole returning leased kit at the end, because I was conscious that I didn't want to accidentally return the trailer that was full before I'd emptied them all. Yeah, I was really worried about doing that by mistake. Anyway, we're making pretty good progress. Things are going well. With the trailer on the back and the back end, with the trailer on the back end is still a little bit light, but it's not undrivable. If I was going to do this again, I would definitely want a different setup. Now, they do a version of this that you can put it on the back and mount it off the side. That might have been better, but it's harder to work, particularly like with this field where we've got trees down the side. I mean, that would work well if we did corn in field 38 for silage. But I mean, this kind of setup works great for these small fields, where, you know, I wouldn't want to have leased a forage harvester for this. It would have been excessive. But for this was great, and much more enjoyable than using a pull behind forage harvester. I've always found those frustrating. I guess if you're doing multiplayer, they may be okay, because you can have a competent carter as long as you've got someone who's competent doing the carting. But auto drive, maybe not the most competent. I think horseplay often struggles to drive those pull behind ones. So yeah, it's not always easy to use those. So this is a good option for small scale silage without, yeah, good option for small scale silage, I think. We're just going to switch over to the McCormick as it arrives at the farm, get this tipped. Then we can, I don't think we'll need it, but we'll send the McCormick back up just in case the other trailer fills up. Because I don't particularly want to run out of space for silage in the trailer. That would be bad. Yeah, I really like this farm. Really like this farm. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it too much, but when I was deciding about how I really want to do a series on the vintage oaks, I was trying to decide how to fit it in and which saves I could think about cutting. I really felt like at the moment I haven't played this save as much as I want to. So I found it really hard actually when I spoke on, can't remember on which video I spoke about it, but in FS25 I want to try and do more focused play on less maps, but it's like there are so many maps that I want to play and I don't know how to manage that because I like doing long series, but the problem with the long series is it means you can't experience so many maps. And that's why I usually end up with the position that I've been in where I'm playing like 6 maps and it's really hard. It's really hard to manage that with stuff. So, and whether I go the VF route where he limits how long a series is so that he can experience more maps. But I just find that I like playing. Maybe the Farming the Decades option is the way to go, and obviously that kind of got paused, but where the idea is that every 2 years you move the series to a different map, so all of the equipment and the farm moves, but you keep that progression, because that's what I like the progression, you building up equipment and things like that. Maybe that's the way that I do it. Yeah, maybe that's what. And I did ponder that with taking the money that we've got out of Saxthorpe and moving that to the vintage oaks. So selling everything off of Saxthorpe and using that as our seed money for the vintage oaks. So it's almost like a continuation, but I'm not going to try and own all of a 4X map. That would be nuts. But maybe that's something we could do. Maybe that's something to do. I don't know. I've not really got that series set up in my mind yet, other than the fact that I wanted to try and start it this week. But yeah. Anyway, we've got one more row to go. As I say, there's a nice thing about not needing a lot of maize silage and therefore doing a very small field is that it really didn't take that long to get this job done, and that kind of fits in with my other goal of trying to make producing farm sim videos a bit slicker, a bit snappier, a bit faster essentially. Because I do tend to get quite bogged down, and I don't want to be spending 3 hours to get 30 minutes worth of content. It's or not consistent anyway, because I just don't have the time for it these days. Not at the moment anyway. That might change as I get past September, because part of the reason I don't have time for that is at the moment a lot of my weekends is spent doing training for the ultra marathon that I'm working on, and normally I would have spent a lot of the weekends recording, and once I'm post the ultra marathon in September, I will get some of the weekend back. So yeah, so that might help with the balance. But anyway, let's say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. And let me just make a quick note of the time. And I'm also going to say if any of you are interested in picking up a copy of FS25, then think about using my partner code, either from the QR code on the screen or by using partner code Disturbed. I'm still very, very close to bronze partner. So, yep, if you want to help me out, that would be awesome. Still sat about 3 copies of the game away. So, yep. And we're done with the harvest, so we didn't quite get that 3rd trailer full, but we've got what, you know, nearly probably about 60,000 litres of maize silage. That's going to be plenty to get us through the winter, with the animals having grazed all the way through. You know, they'll probably be good through autumn, actually, with how much the grazing is lasting. Actually, more than 60,000 litres, yeah. And the grazing seems to be lasting really well, I guess, because it's a really big pasture and we don't have that many animals, so, which I quite like. It makes it quite low maintenance having all of the different types of animals. So it's quite a nice way to do it. It's quite nice. So I hadn't realised when I was parking this trailer up that this was the leased trailer. And that the other trailer was up in the field we own. So I parked this one quite nicely. And then, well, not that nicely. I park it okay-ishly. Yeah. And then I return it. Not realising that it's gone. I was just checking to see if we had any, like, levelers or compactors or stuff. We don't. So what I'm going to do is grab the McCormick with the bucket on the front, and because it's not that much silage, this will do the job quite quickly. We can use the bucket to do any leveling we need to. We need to do a bit, and the compacting isn't really going to take that long with how much there is. And actually, I was going to say with a tracked tractor, but I don't think that makes any difference with how the game handles tracks and wheels. But you can see the compaction is going up pretty quickly. So, yeah, I think we're good from how long that's going to take. And, yeah, pretty much 63,000 litres of maize silage from that tiny field. As long as we're economical with how much we put in, that'll get us through winter easily. Yeah, not worried at all. I think we've just got one more root crop field to harvest. Still need to work out all of my planting schedule. That will be a job for next time, I suspect. Yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you've got any comments, questions or suggestions or thoughts on the new series, stick them below, and we'll just get this compacting finished, get the cover over, get it fermenting. We'll have a quick check on the alfalfa silage. We do need to do some mowing, I think, soon as well. So let's get that covered. There we go. Quick check on the alfalfa silage, which is not quite fermented yet, I don't think. No. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.